All right, this is chapter 4, video 5. We're going to carry on and program our first decision structure type of controls up here. Now, this one right here, even though we're not going to be using a typical if statement to do this, it's still in a sense a decision structure using two new controls. So what we're looking at here is option buttons. Now remember, option buttons might not be on yours, so you might have to open up your toolbox, go into your general tools here, your common controls, and look for a control here called the option button, or the radio button they call it on here. And it looks like I've got an error again, so let me just go back in here and delete that out. Go back to my code, and we should be back on track here. All right, so you can add that radio button and you can pop it in. Now the radio button works with other radio buttons, and the behavior of it is simply that it has only one can be selected at a time. And if you click another one within its container, the other one gets selected. So for example, on this form, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 radio buttons on this form, but because I'm inside of a container, this group box, only these two will interact and relate to each other. And similarly with these ones right here, those three will relate to each other. And that's one of the reasons we use a group box, is it helps organize radio button controls. So the way that this one's going to work is, for example, this is the finished product, and if I click, I have to make a decision. Is it yes or no? Are you a student? Yes or no? If I click yes, it's going to display, so you're a student at Douglas College. If I click no, only one of these can be active at the same time. You should go to Douglas College. So whenever you have a situation where you're looking for input from a user that requires you to have one answer only, the radio button is definitely the way to go. All right, so in that case, what I want to do is I'm going to click on my yes, and when I do that, it's going to create a new method here, event handler. And this will be a little different than the ones we've looked at before, which is called the click. Because it's a radio button, it has an event called was it checked, did it change? So it goes from on and off. And if that happens, meaning it was off and goes to on, it'll execute this line of code. So all we're simply doing is we're just saying, let's take a message and let's put it into the property here called text of that student label. So this one here is the student label. Currently there's nothing in there. So when I click on the yes, all it's doing is it's moving it directly into this message into that label box. So it's a pretty simple concept. So we're not using an if statement in this example, and I did this on purpose to show the example that you can write code and make a decision sometimes with just a control rather than writing the syntax. Let's do the second button. So I'm going to double click on no, and then we want to basically do the same thing. Now I could just type this in and change it and paste it in, but for the sake of this example, for the sake of the I've put up the code for you guys, and I'm going to get you to copy it from the PDF file that I provided, and I'm going to get you to just simply paste it in. Now, if you're going to do this, you have to make sure that your name of your controls are going to match the name of the control. So if that control is called student label, this one better be student label. Otherwise, it's going to be a disconnect. This message, if they are not a student, you want to say, oh, then you should go to Douglas College if you're not a student. So when I compile and run this program, what the computer will do is it'll compile all this, check all these controls, and then let's have a look. And I click yes, that event changed. Let's execute the code. Let's put this in the text box. Similarly, if I was to select the no now has changed. The checked has changed. So then let's execute the code for that. You should go to Douglas College. And that should run and behave very similar to what we have up here. Now if you look, its justification is off. So it's not mimicking my design exactly, but that's up to you if you want to make those changes. All right, so that's a little bit about this first module, is are you a student, and how to use controls to make a decision. And it can be used from time to time, and it's a good idea, well, if you want to make it simple, to use a method like that. All right, we'll see you in the next video.